Often, things that have endured forever everywhere do so because they work or they have some tethering to reality. But in this case,
in terms of reality, I'm glad you mentioned the word reality, because in terms of reality, I'm gay married. Ooh, right? Like,
YouTube, good morning, good noon, good night. It's your boy Rowdy, and we got another video today. Today we're gonna react to Michael Knowles. He was recently on the Jubilee, I guess you would say, podcast or whatever, but he was on Jubilee, and sometimes they do one person versus 20 or however many. Today he did one person versus 25 people who believe in same-sex or LGBTQ supporter allies. So I kind of wanted to go over a couple of panelists that, were able to talk to him, because their insights were, dare I say, very much challenged by him, and the way they responded showed how baseless their claims were. So I just want to see, where the state of the modern, individual, the modern adult is versus where, somebody who claims they are a Christian, against how the Bible basically is structured. And it's an interesting take. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys supporting me up to this point. If you could like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. And I'm going to bring you guys more content as fast as possible. Anyway, let's get into it.
what was his name? I didn't catch it. That was easy. You got it. How's it going?
good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so I am not in this politics world. To be honest, all I know about you is your name is Michael, and you don't marry your cousins.
I don't.
Which is great.
I don't. I avoid
Okay,
that.
so I was taking some notes.
That's a dig because they feel like conservatives are, such a monolith, and they are the same minded, and so much so that they're going to marry their cousins. It's just an insult. Literally comes out of the gate insulting him. So I hope that Michael Knowles does not take it easy on him, because that was trifling.
Yeah,
Anthropology.
I feel like what you're ultimately appealing to is Michael's idea of marriage, and that's fine, right? But
I'm appealing to everyone else's idea of marriage for all of history.
Well, so here's the thing. Weren't there other ideas in the past that were bad?
Well, there are plenty of ideas in the past that have been bad and discarded. There are very few ideas that have existed everywhere for all of history and continue to exist today, albeit in a slightly different form, that are bad.
So,
right?
but why am I supposed to care that people have believed something for a long time?
Often, things that have endured forever everywhere do so because they work or they have some tethering to reality. But in this case,
in terms of reality, I'm glad you mentioned the word reality, because in terms of reality, I'm gay married. Ooh, right? Like, we live in a society where, if you look at polling data, society seems to be okay with gay marriage. And so if you personally don't want to get gay married, you don't have to. But shouldn't we? I mean, I think, like, what is the point of this conversation?
Because you're not really married. You have a relationship with a man,
I understand,
but you're not really married.
I understand that you think that, and that's fine. But we should structure, because what's the point of this conversation, right? Like,
Here's the issue with the mindset, and you can kind of see based off of what he is saying to the right in the black. He has a false sense of what marriage is. Marriage, first of all, has nothing to do with love, and has nothing to do with who you feel like your partner should be based off of your feelings. So, I mean, that could be the same thing however you look at it, but this is why I feel like what I just said is two different things. Marriage is a sacred covenant to build a family between man and woman. You get married so that you can build a legacy. A legacy is through your children. In order for humans to have children, there needs to be a woman and there needs to be a man. That's why people get married. Not because you make me feel good and I'm happy with you. That's not marriage, and you do not need to marry anybody to feel good and be happy with them. If you're going to marry somebody, it's because you are deciding to build a legacy with that person and you want to move forward in with a family. That's it. This perverted idea of what marriage is nowadays is asinine, because what are we really talking about? Marriage is a sacred covenant between a man and a woman. It isn't even just biblical. It's just a sacred covenant, and people are you get married when you want to build a family and you want to have legacy. We have gone so far left that a lot of people don't understand legacy. They don't understand family. And these are the people that decide they want to do these things. You can live your life how you want to live it, but you can't sit there just like I can't force my beliefs on you. You can't force your false beliefs on me, because even if I believe a certain way, if I'm telling you and what I know is facts, I can't force it on you, but you can't force me to accept that you are married. So Michael Knowles is doing exactly what he should do in pushing back, because that's not a real marriage, even if you look at it, because the only reason why you're married, like I said, this will be their fourth time. Man, wife, legacy. That's it.
I was kind of falling asleep through all like the Plato and Socrates and Italy.
I didn't bring it up.
But
That was the other guy. That wasn't me.
I know. And we'll agree on that, okay? There's the agreement for the thumbnail,
Good,
all right?
good.
But like the point of this conversation
I can make it
should
very
be
practical for you.
that we're deciding how we should conduct ourselves,
Yes,
right?
I can make it very practical for you. Children do very poorly when they are raised by two men.
The point of this conversation is we're deciding ultimately, like, what should our laws be? So we live in a pluralistic society,
Yeah.
and we should have our laws allow people to live the way they want.
So what about the right of a kid to have his natural mother and father? Because when the rubber meets the road in gay marriage, it's
Right.
not just two people living together. You could always do that. It's not two people doing those things you guys do, that you could always do that. It's the ability to adopt children, and in some cases, acquire children by going to the baby store and purchasing the eggs of one woman, renting the womb of another woman, and raising children, depriving them intentionally of their
So-
natural mothers, and that's very wrong.
So here's
and
the
that
thing,
does infringe
Michael.
on the rights of kids.
I understand that you believe that.
And all the
majority-
scientific literature, by the way, backs that.
Before he continues, let me just kind of break it down real quick. Just small, let me insert. So to his point, what we're failing to realize is children do need maternal and paternal, because you see in the society that we are in, a lot of children are raised with just their mother, and you can see why we have all of these issues, and especially in the black community. So that's one thing. But to the other point that Michael is making, which is refuting what this other person is making, again, you can sit there and try to say America is not allowing you to do what you want to do. We cannot legally stop you from these things that Michael is stating. If you are two men, you can legally go and get a child, or you can get a surrogate mother, and you guys can raise a child, which in two men and two women, which is idealistically wrong. So because of that, you can't lie and say America does not allow you to do what you want to do, and you can't live your life how you want to live it. You can. You just said that you are gay married. All I can do is say something to contrast what you're saying. All I can do, I have no power. More often than not, we have no power to stop how you want to live your life. Especially, let's say, hypothetically speaking, this person wanted to be a woman. Just as long as they're not trying to infringe on women's spaces, they can do whatever they want to do. And you cannot sit there and have the state honor you as that, because that's not truly what you are. However, if you want to live your life that way, that's one thing. But we're not forced to accept it lawfully. We are at a society so well off that we are so far away from common sense that we can have these stupid conversations. You go to a third world country and you try this nonsense. Man is man, woman is woman. And if we're looking for equality, transgenderism only benefits men who become women, not women who become men. Think about that.
that up.
That's not true.
It is true.
Fact check that, please.
It is true.
Let's let them fact check that on the video.
I'm happy
and
to
progress
fact.
with the
I'm happy to fact check it for you right now.
No.
The study that you're referring to is the Michael Rosenfeld study out of Stanford in 2010, and it said that kids raised in gay households did just as well in schools as the other kids.
It's not a study.
And that it was a major study.
No,
but it was wrong. It had a major methodological error.
And society's laws should reflect what the majority of people are okay with.
The majority of people were okay with slavery for much of the 19th century. So should society's laws just reflect that?
Wait, so now things that happened in the past are bad?
Some things that happened in the past are bad, and some things are good.
Okay.
But some things are good.
But slavery is bad. Gay
Right.
marriage, gay adoption, things like that are not bad.
They are bad.
No.
And gay marriage is non-existent and gay adoption is bad.
Then how am I gay married if it doesn't exist?
You're not.
Am I here?
You exist, but gay marriage does not exist.
Okay.
And gay adoption is very bad for the kids. I'm not even knocking the guys who want to do it. I understand there's a natural longing to have kids, and homosexuals in a same-sex union can't create kids, which is part of the reason why it's not marriage. But it's still bad for the kids.
Okay.
There was a whole lot of back and forth, round and round, but the obvious mindset is you cannot be a man married to another man or be in a situation where you believe that you're married to another man. Homosexual marriage cannot thoroughly be a thing, because in order for marriage to be looked at as an actual marriage, you have to be building towards a family, meaning you have to be able to have kids within the confines of that marriage. Because we are in a more fast-tracked society, there are more avenues that we can have to have children, which allows for us to be able to have these homosexual marriages. But if you go outside of America, 9 times out of 10, this is not what's happening. Even if it's a country where they have free healthcare, this is not things that they are doing on a huge basis. These are more upscale societies that are allowed to do this. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys. If you watched to this far, thank you. I'm gonna leave this whole link in my description if you guys want to watch. I definitely believe you should watch this, because it's very insightful. Because like I said earlier, it gives you an idea of how these people think and how crazy some of the things that come out of their mouth are, and how erratic they get once you challenge their points. And the more crazy a person gets, the more likely that they are wrong, and you've pointed them out and they're wrong. But anyway, thanks again, and I'm gonna holler at y'all in the next one. All right, peace.